Greetings. We're going to finish up this last bit of Module 10, and then either tomorrow or Monday start working on Module 11. We've got Module 11 and Module 12 to finish up. If you have not been getting on to your Schoology and completing the work, please get that in. Need to get that stuff done. And we're going to have some information coming up about what's going on after the school year finishes. I talked to some of you about after the official end of school, we will be able to go and finish the house that we started on at the house location. We'll be able to finish it out. The construction trades class is planning to go and do their work and then be able to then allow us to come in and do what we need to do. That will be the time where we will be able to get in, finish it out, and I will at that point take the copper and everything that was stripped out and take it for recycling and be able to do the pizza and whatnot at that point. So Mr. Beasley is still working on getting everybody able to be into the classroom and get their things out, what needs to be taken home and whatnot. But you first year guys, good news, we are going to have an AM and PM, so you will be able to work schedules around a little bit better for next year. That'll be really nice. And I don't know how full the classes are. There was a lot of interest, so depending on how full the classes are, might be able to still get some of your buddies in for next year. So if you talk to them over the summer or they've decided to start working somewhere and they really hate working at Taco Bell like Scarberry, maybe you can tell them, hey, check out this class. You'll have some skills at the end and be able to go work and not have to work at fast food anymore. So, that being said, let's get into the last part of Module 10, and then we will be finished up. I will post on Schoology some questions for everybody to go through and work out what needs to be done at the end of the chapter or the module. All right, so when we're talking about electrical drafting and electrical drafting lines, you had a chance. If you haven't been in there, go ahead and get in and look at the slides. You can go back and look at them again if you want to. And when we're talking about electrical drafting, there are different ways. And a dotted line or a hash line going across is wire concealed in the floor. You need to have that knowledge for what the need to knows. Wiring turned down is a solid line ending with a solid dot. That is wiring turned down. So it would turn down from the end of that run, go down a wall or down through a floor. And you also need to know number of arrowheads indicates number of circuits. So what this is talking about with branch circuit, home run to panel board. So you'll have a number of arrowheads indicating the number of circuits. So if you've got several runs going in the same chase area, it'll just be drawn and have arrowheads at the end of the drawing, at the end of the line, solid line, that indicate, hey, you've got multiple runs through here. So if you have 3 arrowheads, that's 3 runs going through. If you've got 2, that's 2, and so forth. So that's little details within the drawings that you need to be aware of and you need to know as you go through there. So the details within electrical drawings tell you a whole lot about what's going on. So we need to know what the duplex receptacle looks like, as far as what the symbol is. When we get into looking at symbols, it's a common one that you're going to use. You're going to see upon a lot of blueprints. You're going to need to know what a duplex receptacle looks like. So if you don't have the slides there in front of you, and you don't remember what it looks like or whatever, you can just put it in your favorite search engine and find it. Just duplex receptacle symbol or blueprint symbols, and blueprint symbols for electrical you can pull up and find a lot of different ones, and it shows. But it's that circle with 2 lines in it that you'll see commonly, that is the duplex receptacle. So it's a circle with 2 lines, duplex receptacle. That's one of those symbols that you really need to know. And a recessed fixture, kind of like a can light or anything that would be above a hard ceiling, would be that, an R inside of a circle, a recessed. If it's in the ceiling, if it's in the wall, it's going to look like that. It's going to have a tail on it. So those are symbols that you'll need to know, but there are several of them that you should know as you start looking at drawings, and I'm sure that you went over a lot of this stuff with Mr. Humphrey as well. So you need to be able to identify those symbols. You need to be able to identify what's going on within your drawings, and so just keep that in mind as you get into that. There's so many to look at, so many to remember, and I've known guys that have been in doing it for years, that they'll come across something that an architect has put on, that or somebody has put on, that they might not know, and they have to look it up. So don't feel bad about not knowing them all. You're going to have references, but you need to know the common ones. That's the biggest thing. Knowing the common, the ones you see all the time. Now, as we move out of looking at the symbols and we start looking at architect scale, you need to know architect scale. And figure 22 shows 2 configurations. So when you get into your looking in there, 22 will have different configurations on. I'm trying to find figure 22 here. Yeah, on the architect scale. And this is that 3-piece ruler that you'll have for architect's drawing. You need to know how to use that, and not having one in front of you is kind of hard to think about and know how to go through that. But it shows 2 configurations of the architect scale, so that 1 inch is 1 foot, or that the graduation space represent 1/8 inch equals 1 foot. And it has different scales, different sizes, depending on the size of the project, depending on the size of the detail of the blueprint you're working off of. You'll have different scales, and the architect will choose, depending on what their requirements are, what they're needing to show, and different ones might be at different scale. So you need to make sure that you're looking down in that corner that shows where the scale is, what you need to look at. So you need to know how to use that scale. As you went through that slideshow, there were a lot of different drawings that you saw. So, or different symbols that you could see. So you need to know that in architect scales that there are common ones that they're going to use a lot. 3/32 to 1 foot, 1/4 to 1 foot, and 1/2 to 1 foot. You're going to run across those most often, and you have to also keep in mind that there isn't going to be an 1 3/4 to 1 foot scale on there that you're going to run across. That was a note that was written in here that Mr. Humphrey had given before. So something that has been run across in different times, but that's not a not something you're going to come across. But your common ones are the 3/32, the 1/4 inch, or the 1/2 inch to a foot. Those are the ones that you'll see most commonly. Now there's the different rules that you can get a hold of, the different that triangular ruler that you'll see that architect scale is already marked out on. There's also digital ones that you can use, so that it's got a little roller on the bottom shaped kind of like a pen. You roll it along where you're at, and it gives you put in the scale, and it'll give you the footage of what you just rolled on the blueprint. So you'll have that, but most commonly it's common as far as what I've seen. Most guys just use a ruler, use an architect rule, to look at the blueprints and measure off. Uh, they're they're less subject to having user error. You can really set it up and look at it and do it again and not have to worry. So notes and building symbols, uh, things that you need to have in mind with notes and building symbols. Uh, you're going to run across different symbols, different notes, different things that are in the blueprints, and you'll need to know that you'll need to know busways and offices, warehouse projects. Busways will be common, and you'll need to know what that looks like. Um, and then you'll have a common something again common to more commercial settings. What you'll come across will be a symbol like this is a triangle with an A inside of it. A triangle with an A inside of it. That will be a fixture type C schedule. So you'll have to look at the plans, and then you'll have to look at what was scheduled to be in there. Find what schedule that everything is supposed to be on. That'll tell you what fixture types are going to be able to be implemented within that space. So that's one of those things that you'll need to be able to keep in mind. Locating receptacles. The NEC section 210.52A states that the minimum requirements for the location of receptacles in a dwelling unit, it specifies that each kitchen, family room, and dining room receptacle outlets shall be installed so that at no point along the floor line that any wall space measures more than 6 feet, measured horizontally from the outlet space, including any wall space 2 feet or more in width. So that's just saying that you can't have any more than 12 feet between receptacles in a dwelling. And that's according to NEC. That's where they have theirs set. And no, it can't be more than 12 feet apart, because as you know, a lamp commonly has a 6-foot extension or a 6-foot cord on it, and so you will be able to put that anywhere along the wall and be able to plug it in. That says that, but again, that's minimum requirement. When I wired my upstairs that I'm sitting in right now, finishing, when I was wiring it up, I did every 6 feet, and that seems to be pretty nice. There's enough receptacles, and I don't have to dig for things, don't have to move things away from the walls as things are set across. They're easier to find that way. So you need to know that the requirement is no more than 12 feet apart. And that's what you need to have in mind, what you need to write down as a note. This means that the outlets will be no more than 12 feet apart. When spaced in this manner, a 6-foot extension cord will reach a receptacle at any point along the wall line. And that's what I said, and that's what you need to know, that they're to be located no more than 12 feet apart. receptacles located above countertops in a kitchen, no more than 24 inches. No more than 24 inches. So you can't be more than 2 feet off of the countertop. And that's, you'll notice that there's short little cords on a toaster or any kitchen appliance, and so you need to have receptacles that aren't too far off of the kitchen countertop for that very reason. So you'll find, as you're looking at floor plans, you're looking at the top view down, and so it'll show you where they need to go, but as far as height, as far as that kind of thing, it's up to the discretion of the electrician as well as the general. You need to have those discussions and say, hey, where would you like this to be put? What height are you looking at? There's standards, but there's also some leeway. Branch circuit layout for lighting. You need to know when you're laying out your lighting fixtures, you need to keep in mind that when you're not going to overload your circuit, you need to have a circuit that is capable of handling all of the load of that lighting circuit. If you have a 15 amp circuit and it's 120 volts, you have 1,800 volt amp. That's what that figures out to. It says, therefore, if the circuit is to be loaded to only 80% of its rated capacity, the maximum initial connected load should be no more than 1,440 volt amp. And you have to have that buffer. You have to have that 80% down from your maximum capacity. You have to make sure that your lighting circuit can handle what's there. So you need to know how to figure the volt amps and know that your circuit needs to be 80% of that or less when everything is functioning on. Especially you look at a lighting circuit. Then going on, power riser diagram, one line, single line block diagrams are used extensively to show the arrangement of electrical service equipment. So one line block diagrams are used extensively to show the arrangement of electrical service equipment. So when you have something showing what that arrangement is supposed to look like, it's going to be one line, block diagram. You need to know that. You need to know how they draw out service equipment. And you're also going to need to know notes are used to identify the equipment, indicate the size of the conduit necessary for each feeder, and show the number, size, and type of conductor in each conduit. So you'll have number, size, and the type. So if it's calling, they're going to specify, you're going to have 3 4 500 MCM copper conductors in this 6-inch conduit. That would be one of those specifications. That would be one of those things that you would find. So it gives you the number, the type, or what that coating is going to be, what size it's going to be, and what the conductor is going to be made out of. It'll say copper or aluminum. Sometimes you have to make sure that you're not putting aluminum where copper is specified. And in general, panel board schedules usually indicate the panel number, type of cabinet, either flush or surface mounted, and panel mains, whether ampere and voltage rating, phase, single or 3-phase, and number of wires. You need to know for sure that panel board schedules indicate panel mains, and that is your amperage and voltage rating. Those are things that are going to be on there. Now, I've got a friend who is just starting to do he's been doing them for a while, but he's going to start doing them on his own again, building out panel boards and building out systems for companies. So when we get into this again and we can be in class, I want to bring him in and have him talk about a little bit more and kind of show you, maybe be able to have some examples of what he does and how he does it. And somebody who's in that field, I want to be able to have him come and talk to you a little bit about what's going on there. And as you get into format specifications, and there's different divisions, there's a lot of them that you need to go through, things that are there within the specifications. One of the things that you'll need to keep in mind, though, what division that you need to have is Division 28 is electronic safety and security. That's one of those ones that you need to know. One of the things you need to have note on. Electronic safety and security is Division 28. I believe that's in your slides as well. You can find the figure 46. That's your master format subgroups and divisions. So those divisions are there, and you are able to see it. But Division 28 is electronic safety and security. That's one you're going to have to have in mind. You're going to have to know that. So we're coming close to the end of this module. Just making sure that I've got everything in here for you that you needed to have note of. Hopefully everybody's still doing well. Yeah, that was the last of the notes that you needed to have. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Just a good something going on. Hopefully in the next couple of days, either today or tomorrow. Mr. Beasley has been working diligently to help us out and get digital copies and have access for you guys to be able to access your books. Since we weren't able to send them with you, but you were able to you'd be able to access these books and be able to go through page by page and see where I'm at as I'm doing these um, videos. So hopefully you'll have that very soon. I'm going to work on getting some questions on Schoology for the end of this module, and then we'll be ready to start the next module. Like I said, either tomorrow or on Monday. We'll get some things pushed out so you can have some time to work on it. This week got kind of crazy. I had a little bit of trouble getting things getting going on Schoology. Everything seems to be cleared up again, so we'll keep working on that until we get something better to use. There's a possibility with having access to the books, you'll also have access to the quizzes and stuff at the end of the modules, which we'll be using as soon as we have that access. So until I see you again, stay safe,